Welcome to the Uphill Community Podcast, your source of inspiration to gain clarity, elevate your standards, and embrace your call to and for more. Together, we choose the uphill climb, pursuing the hard best over the easy good, and discovering life waiting to be lived in community. So, hey, welcome to the show. I'm so glad that you are here. I'm pretty pumped up about today's episode. I'm going to be stepping into this whole world of our gifts, our calling, our talent, superpowers, the zone of genius, whatever it is that you want to call it. You can call it what you want, call it what you will. But yeah, we're going to get into that. But I want to say thank you so much for listening and supporting the show, and for all of those who have already liked the show, rated the show, reviewed the show. Hey, thank you so much. So whatever you're listening to right now, if you're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, Amazon Music, Odyssey, Audible, hey, go ahead and like the show, follow the show, share the show with some other people. Also, if you'd like to follow me on the socials, you can follow me on LinkedIn. That's real simple, Tim Pecoraro, Timpecoraro. Or if you'd like, you can find me on the Instagrams. And I post regularly little snippets, things just to motivate, inspire, and encourage. So I don't do a whole lot on there. I'll do more in the future, I think. I'm working on it. But I'm one of those people, I spend my time living my life. I don't post about my life. So that's not taking a shot at anybody. It's just where I'm at. So I will include more so you can see a little bit more about what I do, things that make me smile, things that, just that are part of my world. So things that I care about. But mostly what I like to do is just inspire people to give you some giddy up and go, right, for you in your everyday life. And also in Instagram, if you go to my bio, you can click on my link there and you'll see my link tree, and it's got subscribing. You can subscribe to my newsletter, which once again is just monthly. To be honest with you, we haven't even gotten the frequency down yet, but it's just because I've been building on some of the other stuff. I launched my online community, the Uphill Community. If you're ever interested in something like that, go to the Uphill. So that's TheUphill.community, and you can learn about it there. And also, what I've been doing is in my community, I have clients that I've launched communities with where I'm literally taking them through all the training and development. And it's really nice because all of the stuff that we do together, we do it right there. I go on site, I work with them. This is a very large company, but it's their own place of doing this life and this leadership development that I do. It's like its own learning management, it's online school, everything. So I have been putting these together for companies, and I love it. So if you're a person, you run a business and you're interested and you'd like to know more about stuff like that, hey, send me a DM. Or if you're on LinkedIn, go to LinkedIn and find me on there and send me a message. Hey, I'd like to learn more about how you are building learning systems for companies online to develop the people, right? All the soft skills, leadership stuff, team stuff, also helping people to optimize what they do in their business. It's a great tool. So I've been loving it. So I've built my community on this tool. So awesome, because everything is either on the phone, in an app, or it's online. Everything, it's synced up. Man, I just love it. Love it. And it's all around community. So, hey, people are at work together. Might as well help them to be a good community, right? Be a community together. So speaking of workplace, one of my main things that I love to do, and I love to go in, and I helped, there's a client I'm working with right now. I'm in my second year with them doing this, and I love working with this company. And one of the things that they have done was walk that tightrope of, when there were programs out there and things to grow your business, a lot of times in order to get deals and get businesses, you have to meet certain criteria, obviously, right? And so sometimes what happens is companies will make decisions, and they really will, how about this? They'll put great people, but in wrong spots, or they'll put people who are good for certain things, but not necessarily where they are being placed or put inside the company. And so what you'll see is a lot of misplacement, right? So you'll see a lot of people with titles even. And that's the other thing is like we're in a world where everybody wants a title. They want a title. They want this role. And we feel like we've arrived when we've gotten there. And so I'll talk about that another time. But one of the things I like to do with a company is going in and to make sure that you have the right people in the right places doing the right things. But not only that, but are people functioning, right? So how do we put function over title? And so right now I work with clients, and if you know, I work with leaders, entrepreneurs, and people that have businesses, small, medium, and large, where it's getting over this title thing. Okay. And it's really getting people into function, because if you're trying to do quality of life, and this is where, and I'm going to put it out there into the world, and it's amazing. A lot of times, like I basically, the things that I talk about, next thing you know, people grab them and they go do them. This is what happens. So this is my life. This is what happens all the time, but I'm going to go ahead and do it because, hey, I want to see the workplace change. All right. So many times, oh, I don't even know how to, there's so many times that they're chasing titles instead of focusing on function. And if we could as individuals learn that function is what people want. Quality of life, people are looking for quality of life, and that's how you function. People, when your body is healthy and it's functioning properly, your quality of life is better. When your mind is functioning right, your quality of life is better, right? When your emotions are in check, your quality of life is better. When your bank account functions the way that it should because you're putting money in, not just seeing money come out, your quality of life is better. So many things are better, and it's all around function. This is not rocket science. This is simple math. Okay, simple stuff. I'm not going to blow your mind with some new term and some new thing. I mean, that's always what people chase. And because people are chasing trends, we don't see deep roots. So many of the trends are like the flower that grows that doesn't have a deep root system. It's pretty. It smells good. It's going to be picked and put in a jar, but then that's it. I want to talk to you about things that are more like a tree planted by the river of water that bears fruit because roots are deep. It brings forth fruit in its season and it lasts. And I don't have to come up with a new term for it. Okay. So I'm going to get into function over title, right? So here we go. I want to help people operate beyond labels in the workplace. So here's the opening thought, or a thought-provoking question. Have you ever worked with someone who had the title, okay, listen to this, but actually did they do the work their title implied? Did they do the work? Or how about this? Have you ever worked with someone who had the title, but they didn't do the work that the title implied, right? So however you want to ask the question, did they or did they not, did they match the title? So here's a lot of workplace frustrations. Leaders who don't lead, managers, if you use the term manager, which I don't agree with, you manage systems and processes, you lead people, but I call them leader managers. Leader managers who don't manage their systems and processes and their people, lead their people, and then team members who just don't contribute, right? Those are common workplace frustrations that I see all the time. So as a leadership and development people person and what I do, so I have a title for companies. They call me a people development officer. That's what I am. I'm part of that executive level. I walk through, I work with the team. I help raise leaders. I help promote within. I help right size the teams. And man, it is so much fun doing it when you see the potential unlocked within a team. I love it. It's just so fulfilling, okay? Because that's me in my function. But a title, go back to this. A title is a label, but a function, you ready, is proof. So keep that in mind. So when I'm talking to you today in this conversation, I want you to know that a title is a label, but a function is proof. So I want you to understand today, I want you to understand the difference why function is often misaligned. All right. And I also want to help you ensure that you are operating at your best. And if you're leading people, you help them operate at their best. If you own a business, you're helping the people that are working with you operate at their best. All right? Okay, good. So I'm glad we're on the same page. So let's understand the difference between title versus function. So I'm going to define title or role. Here's my simple definition. A title is an assigned position with an expectation of responsibility. It is given. A title is given. Now, here's function. Function is the actual execution of responsibility. It is demonstrated, not given. So again, here's your definition of title role. A title is assigned or an assigned position with an expectation of responsibility. It is given. So function, though, is the actual execution of responsibility. It is demonstrated. So here's examples. A CEO who holds the title but doesn't make strategic decisions. Or a leader who has the role but doesn't inspire nor guide the team. An employee with no leadership title, but they influence, mentor, and they drive results. So it's not the role. Okay, please hear me when I say this. It's not the role that defines the function. It's the function that proves the role. I have to say it again. It's not the role that defines the function. It's the function that proves the role. All right, good. Let's keep moving. So why people don't function properly in their roles? Like, what's the deal? Why don't they? Well, I'm going to give you my list of some things that I've observed, and I'm sure you could add to it. There's lots of them out there, but just real simple. There's a lack of skill or competence. Some individuals are promoted based on tenure, but not their ability. Okay. There's mindset issues. Some individuals assume that once they have the title, the work is done. Like they get the promotion, that's it. I'm done. I've arrived. But it's like, no, if anything, the work is just beginning. Environmental barriers. Okay. So here's an example. The company's culture, lack of clarity, poor leadership, that could be blocking effectiveness. That's in the environment. How about this one? Another barrier or an obstacle, fear and imposter syndrome, right? Just holding back from stepping into your true responsibilities because of just overwhelming self-doubt. And then interactive moment. This is what I want you to be thinking about. This is what I want you to really have. There's this interactive moment that is available to you, and it's for me. Okay. I want you to think about of a time that you felt blocked in your life from functioning at your best. What do you think was the cause? What was it? Was it one of those? Was it fear of imposter syndrome? Was it the environmental barriers? Was it the mindset issues, lack of skill or competence? Like, what was in the way? So I want to get us to understand first what function is. Titles are just push them aside. Let's get into this function. And I want to now point out what it looks like. What does function look like in action? So I'm going to give you a story, right? It's just a simple little story. It's made up, my little fiction. And it's just an example to help you grasp this picture. Okay, so this is rising to challenge. This is rising to the challenge in times change is needed. So I want you to meet Jordan. This is the team player who stepped up in crisis. So Jordan was a project manager in a mid-sized logistics company that had recently faced budget cuts and restructuring. The company was under pressure to do more with less while still maintaining high-quality operations. Many senior leaders had left, and the organization couldn't afford to hire new high-level executives yet. This meant one thing. Existing employees had to step up to keep things running and and to get the company back on track. So here's where operating beyond the title comes in. Rather than seeing the situation as a burden, Jordan saw it as an opportunity to contribute and to lead. Here's what happened. Identified critical gaps. When senior managers left or senior leader managers left, certain workflows became unclear. So Jordan took it upon himself to document key processes and ensure the team had structure. Jordan also took ownership of the problems. Instead of waiting for directives from overwhelmed executives, Jordan proactively led meetings and worked across departments to keep momentum. Jordan also helped with keeping the morale high. While many team members felt discouraged by the lack of resources, Jordan focused on solutions. He regularly checked in with colleagues, encouraged teamwork, and made sure important work didn't fall through the cracks. Here's another thing. Jordan became the go-to problem solver. The executive team noticed whenever something needed to get done, Jordan was already on it. Jordan was in the room. Jordan was in the middle of it. He wasn't waiting for a new title. You know what he was doing? Jordan was functioning as a leader. So, what's the turning point here? Leadership recognized function over title. After several months, the company's financial situation stabilized, leadership needed to restructure teams, and finally fill in the key roles. So while external hiring wasn't an option due to budget constraints, they needed people who had already proven themselves. Jordan now, listen to this, had no formal management or leadership title yet. So here's what I want you to see. Yet, he was already leading projects. He was already making decisions that impacted operations. He was already mentoring junior employees. Instead of hiring an external manager, senior executives offered Jordan a leadership position, not because he asked for it, but because he had demonstrated that he could handle the responsibility. So what's the lesson here? Well, here's what I've helped companies do, and this is what I think businesses need to pay more attention to. All the stuff that's going on in the world, there's so much we cannot control, nor do we have influence over. So we have to work with it. So rather than, it's like what true leaders do, they don't complain about the wind and the direction of the wind. What they do is they raise their sail and they catch it. When businesses are in transition, titles don't matter. Function does. Companies need people who are going to rise, people who are going to shine, people who are going to stand out through their action, not a position. I have to tell you how often I see too many businesses that there are people who aren't rising, they're not shining, but there's complaints going on, or people who want more, but yet they're not doing anything, they're not stepping up, or people will say that I will do this, but you got to pay me more. How much will you pay me to do that? My attitude is this: how much will it cost me to be involved and have a seat at the table? What do I need to do to rise? What do I need to do to contribute? And I don't do it just because I want a promotion. I go to the next level. I do extraordinary. I shine. I go above average because, you ready? It's what adds value. It's what lifts things. It's the one thing that can change everything. It brings out the best of me and not some pieces of me. So when it comes to times of change, the ones who stand out are those who operate beyond their titles. Your function, you ready? Your function will earn you a seat at the table before your title ever will. I cannot just emphasize that enough. Your function is going to get you a seat at that table more than your title. So, building on the power of function, what it looks like in action. I gave you a story, but I want to give you this thought shift. I want you to shift your thinking. When we focus on function, here's what happens. Credibility will follow. So the more you get yourself aligned and the more you say, how do I function? Not what my title is. How do I function? Not just my role. How am I functioning? When you get down to your work ethic, when you get down to attitude, when you get down to your commitment, when you get down to that type of stuff and that type of thinking, when you get down to working and studying and developing and improving upon what you can do, when you work on problem solving rather than saying it's not my job, not my position, they don't pay me enough to do that. See, that's when credibility will follow. Let me give you some characteristics of high functioning individuals. Okay. This is what I want you to, here's what these people look like. Here's 4 characteristics. Number 1, they take ownership regardless of their title. Number 2, they build trust through consistent action. Number 3, they seek growth and development. And number 4, they positively impact their environment, everything around them, positive impact. Someone who starts leading within a team before they ever get the title as a leader or a leader manager, right? This is what I'm talking about. That's the person that you want. Someone who starts, who's doing it without a title. See, over time, leadership naturally follows their function. That's what happens. Just start doing it. You have aspirations to be a leader. If you're not leading where you are, they're just aspirations. Start now. It's like a millionaire mindset. Millionaires didn't just wake up and they're millionaires. It's the mindset. It's what they do, the things they do that set them apart from everyone else. It's like an author. Books just don't fall out of them. It's like musicians and artists. They do the work. They produce the product. They do it without the recognition. They do it first. Do it. So I'm going to give you this call to action so you can own your function. I have a question for you. If you're a leader or you want to be in a leadership role, or you think maybe you're in a leadership position, you own a company, you're leading people, developing people. If your title was stripped away from you today, would people still recognize your value? Would they recognize it? Are you just a person that regurgitates the same stuff? Are you a person that reads books? I know a lot of people that do what I do. They go read some books, they take a couple of courses, and next thing you know, they're saying that they're, a renowned leadership leader, coach, whatever. I see it all the time. People write books and they just stamp it, #1 bestseller. Well, you can do that with algorithms. There's so many things that I see. It's almost like, where is that thing where we go back and we do the hard work and we realize that just because we take a shortcut, we say a couple of things, it doesn't make it true. Tell you what'll make it true. Take away the title, take away everything else, and would people see and experience the value? That's a good way to find out. So shift the focus from what you're called to what you do. So that would mean, they call me the people development officer at my clients and stuff. Let's take that title away. Do I develop people? Do I do it with leadership in mind? Do I do it as a leader? Is it trustworthy? Like, those are all real questions. And am I valuable? Does it add value? Does it build their life? So take it away. Like, I'm a papa, I'm a father, right? But that's a role, that's a title. But what's my function? It's like that song, Conjunction, Junction, what's your function? That old, I'm gonna get you there oh my gosh. Anyways, that was the old Saturday cartoons. Man, those were so good. But anyways, what's your function? If you were to take away the title, what's your function? So I'm going to give you some practical steps in this, just some things that you can do to work on this. I want you to audit your role and your function. So here's what that means. Where are you performing well and where are you falling short? It's real simple. Second thing I want you to do, I want you to develop skills for your function. So Whatever the function is that you're trying to move in and what you want to function well in, develop those skills, seek mentorship, get some additional training, work on self-improvement, get a coach in your life, like do those things to go to the next level. Here's another thing you can do. Lead where you are. Just right where you are, doing what you're doing. 360 leadership, lead from within. Take initiative, solve problems, be dependable. And then lastly is ask for feedback. Get some insight on whether your function aligns with your role. So if you have a VP title, go ask some people, does my function align with my role? How does it look? Am I functioning like a VP? Do I truly function like one? Do I function like a leader? Do I function like a captain? Do I function that way? Ask the question. Get some real honest feedback. If you really want, listen, even if you never get another promotion all your life, what I'm telling you to do, if you were to do this, it's worth it. It is so valuable. It is worth it just to be a better contributor and to be a better human being to the rest of this world. That in and of itself is worth it. There you have it. So those are your practical steps. Audit your role and function, develop skills for your function, lead where you are, ask for feedback. So as I wrap this up, think about this. Titles are given, but your function is earned. And your function is going to determine your legacy, not the label. So I want you to live in your function. And your title will take care of itself. So until next time, we'll talk soon.